Good morning, Colfax, and welcome to CTV for November 13th. I'm joined by Kylie Powell, and today we turn the Falcon spotlight on an artist that likes to paint in big brushstrokes.
Chelyn Ackerman bounces around campus, and did you know?
And we report on a number of opportunities where you can make a small contribution in order to make a big impact. Welcome to the show.
As much as we just want COVID-19 to go away, it's still with us. Many people who are barely getting by can no longer provide food for their families, which is why food banks have seen a dramatic increase in need.
The KCRA Kids Can Food Drive reached out to Colfax High School to help, and your fellow Falcons answered the call.
Hello, Colfax High School students, parents, and community. The Leadership Program is hosting a canned food drive to help all local food banks that have been stressed by the pandemic. Many families are in need, and we need your help.
Leadership students will be posted in front of the school to collect cans this Friday and all next week. Tell us what class you want your cans to go to, as this is a class competition.
Thanks for investing in our local families and this community.
Artists are an essential member of any society, and we count on them to bring beauty to our world, challenge norms, and help us make sense of the things we can't. Today, the Falcon Spotlight shines on senior Morgan Walker, an artist, and so much more.
Morgan Walker is a senior that you can't put in any one box. She's an athlete, a top flight student, and has been passionate about art her entire life. When IB art became an offering at Colfax, it was no surprise that Morgan embraced the opportunity.
So growing up, I did a lot of art with my mom, and both of my grandmas on her side, my great grandma and my grandma, were both professional artists. And so I just grew up surrounded by all of their artwork. It's always been like around my house, and my mom was always super into art, and so we were kind of just always doing artsy things, crafty things, and I would take like sewing classes with my grandma on my dad's side and go to craft stores, and I was just always doing crafty stuff my whole life and just kind of hooked on.
As a child, Morgan had a very diverse artistic background, but as she's evolved, so has her art. Before entering high school, her creative interests were broad. In Colfax's art program, Morgan quickly discovered her favorite medium, acrylic paint. Last year, in the IB art class, Morgan invested in small-scale paintings with lots of detail. But with the help of Mrs. Baruso, Morgan has gained the confidence to go big with murals.
It's amazing to me the way that she's kind of achieved some of her acrylic paint techniques, and the way that her painting has grown over the past few years is just technically incredible. But it's also just a really cool visual effect where you see something at first and it looks really neat, but then as you get deeper, you see other little details that you hadn't noticed before.
Mrs. Baruso isn't the only role model in Morgan's life who admires her artistic side. Her soccer coach, David Ray, has gotten to watch Morgan grow and slowly become herself on and off the pitch. He says her infectious character makes her someone her teammates and classmates gravitate towards.
I think it's just been really fun to meet Morgan and kind of just watch her life over the years of things she's had to go through personally and on the field, or not being allowed to be on the field, and just see how she's chosen to let that affect her positively, and she's used all of that to grow and be a better person.
The challenges Coach Ray is referencing were a series of concussions suffered by playing the rugged position of goalie. Despite these setbacks, Morgan has always found a way to support her teammates, which comes to no surprise to Mrs. Baruso.
Morgan has this sensibility about her where she is just so in touch with who she is, and she's also so in touch with the people she interacts with. And I think that's the answer to how our society is going to heal, when we have these connections between humans, and when you talk with her, you feel like you feel valued and you feel important. And I think that that comes from kind of her deep connection to her family and who she is, and being confident in that. And then she in turn honors that through her connection with other people, and also with the earth.
Morgan carries a love for her native culture and passion for arts and crafts, and blends them to make homemade jewelry.
So I make custom jewelry pieces. They're beaded with like little seed beads. I make necklaces, anklets, bracelets, earrings. These ones I made, and mostly started out because I am native and I'm around jewelry all the time. I always had lots of jewelry. My mom loves jewelry, and so I've been kind of dabbling with that over the last few years.
Artist, athlete, academic. Morgan Walker is a Falcon and is making the most of her time at Colfax. If you are interested in Morgan's handmade jewelry during the gift-giving season or any other time, contact her on Instagram @MorgaWalker. Reporting for CTV, I'm Mary O'Rourke.
The scale and beauty of her art is inspiring, and to combine that with talent of all of her other talents, impressive, Morgan. I'm also impressed by the Freshman Leadership Initiative to start a children's book drive. They are asking for Colfax High School families to dig through their bookcases and donate all children's books that are not being used. All the books will be given to Love, Talk, Read, a local organization committed to providing books for at-risk children and families.
Not only will this book drive be collecting books, but they will also be recording book readings in the CTV studio and sending them to feeder schools to add to their online curriculum. If you want to read, contact your class president. This is a great project, and like we said before, a really easy way to make an impact in your community. Donate a book, donate some canned foods, and collectively, we can all make a big impact.
That's a fact, Megan. CTV is committing right now to 10 books and 20 cans, and the leadership program is in for 40 cans and 20 books. If every class or organizations did that, we would have hundreds of books and cans of food. Let's do this, Colfax.
Community service is not the only thing going on around campus, and Chelyn Ackerman is here to share a few other things in Did You Know?
Welcome back to Did You Know? Did you know that foreign exchange programs are not just for students coming from abroad, and that we had a fellow Falcon spend the entire 2019 and 2020 school year in Europe?
Often, what we consider the Colfax community is our school and the surrounding area. However, last year that community expanded by almost 5,500 miles. When Gracie Lake, a junior, spent the entirety of the 2019-20 school year as an exchange student in Überlingen, Germany.
I was an exchange student in Germany for a little bit over a year to understand the language a little bit better and to experience whole new culture and everything. I stayed with my aunt and uncle and all my cousins there because they're from there and they just live there.
While in Germany, Gracie attended Gymnasium Überlingen, the German equivalent of an American high school. Attending school in another country offers a multitude of challenges. In Germany, the grading system is completely different, spanning from 1 to 6, instead of the numerical system used in the US. School day lengths also vary much more. Some days, school can last until 5:30 p.m., and other days can end as early as 1 o'clock. In addition to the systematic differences, language also offers unique problems. These weren't too much of a difficulty for Gracie because she's been speaking German from a young age after having been taught by her grandmother.
So my level of fluency is C1, which is actually almost fluent, completely fluent. I learned German from my grandma at a very young age, and I've been speaking to her in German all my life. So I communicated in Germany in German. So some of my friends wanted to speak English with me to make sure the English was good and whatever, but most of the time it was just in German.
Not only was Gracie able to immerse herself in the German culture through language, but she also made sure to participate in traditional holidays, like Oktoberfest. She visited heritage sites and traveled to nearby countries. Throughout her time there, she visited Berlin, Munich, Giesekirchen, a town where her grandmother grew up, Hamburg, Dachau internment camp, Austria, and Switzerland.
I would definitely suggest this experience to other people. I had a wonderful time in Germany. It was a great experience. It was so fun to see a different culture and to experience that in real life.
There are many programs worldwide that allow students to partake in foreign exchange programs. So, if you are interested, I highly suggest finding one that fits your specific wants and needs. Reporting for CTV, I'm Megan Towne.
Thanks for sharing your story, Gracie. Power outages have become part of living in the foothills. Did you know that Colfax High School still runs when the power is out?
PG&E temporarily shuts down power in areas that experience severe weather to prevent wildfires. In the case of Colfax, wind and dry conditions have regularly triggered public safety power shutoffs or PSPS events. Placer Union High School District administrators, in partnership with the Colfax administration team, partner to solve the problem of students missing school when the power goes down by installing generators. We talked to Mr. Lumberg to better understand how the school made the decision to purchase these generators.
I think we began to realize that the PPSs were going to be here to stay. It wasn't something that was going to go away. So we decided this was going to impact school every year. If we didn't get generators, we were going to have kids missing school quite a bit. So that was why we decided to do this.
The two generators purchased are diesel powered, one 450 kilowatt and one 500 kilowatt. These generators will provide energy to the entire campus.
My idea is if we foresee tomorrow there's going to be power out, we're going to hook them up now, today. But that way we're up and running. We know that when you guys come to school, power will be on. There will be no delay.
While the generators provide power to the school, in an emergency, they can potentially provide people in the community Wi-Fi and essential power.
Well, I think, first of all, having kids in school is a great benefit for the community just because, parents don't have to worry about the kids staying at home. The other elements that I think will eventually help the community too is if we do have a mass blackout all over the area, we can be a place where we can serve food to the community if we needed to. People can come over to get Wi-Fi service, so it can broaden beyond the school.
The Colfax community is getting used to the PSPS shutdowns and the inconveniences that are associated with them, all in order to avoid a wildfire disaster. Colfax High School has invested in its infrastructure to keep the power line going on even when the lights go out around them. Reporting for CTV with camera op and editor Zander, I'm Diego Perez.
Doing television is way better with power. Did you know it's Movember? You might not be able to tell, but many of our male staff members are growing mows or mustaches in support of prostate cancer awareness. 1 in 9 men will be diagnosed in their lifetime, but caught early, it is very treatable. Encourage the men 50 and over in your life to get a prostate screening. And on November 20th, on your way out to Thanksgiving break, vote for the best staff mow by making a donation of any amount. The winning staff member gets lunch, and all your donations will go to the Movember Foundation. Thanks again for tuning in to Did You Know? If you want us to highlight something on campus, shoot me an email at ackermanc23@puhsd.ca.us.
Thank you, Chelyn. With all the masks, the staff mows are going to be kept a big secret. My money is on Mr. Pelfano.
Yearbook is dropping their next 2 themes, and once again want your pictures. Let's make this the best book yet, despite the circumstances, and flood these theme forums with great pictures.
The next 2 themes are friendship
and art and the artist. So find your favorite friend pictures and artists, snap a pic with your favorite art, or have someone snap it for you. Either way, get Yearbook your pictures. Check your email for the forums or go to the Yearbook website from the homepage and find all the themes you can submit to.
And speaking of artists, thanks to everybody who made it out to the first ever Chalk Fest. Your work brought many smiles and beautified our campus. Let's take a look back.
That is a perfect way to end the show. Thanks for tuning in. On behalf of Kylie Powell, I'm Megan Towne. Have a great day, Colfax.